You've never tried to eyeball 6 feet as often as you do now. You wear a mask, you wash your hands, and you've stayed within the walls of your apartment for more hours than you care to add up. But unless you live in a smoke-free building, you're not exactly home free. Secondhand smoke drifting through the cracks in walls or sink drains carries toxic chemicals that can damage your lungs. And right now, lung health is key. Go to tobaccofreeca.com to learn how to stay safe.
Hello, everybody. This is Kim Evans. It is the top of the year. I am so excited. Welcome to my new podcast, Conversations with Kim Evans. And today, I have my very first guest at the top of the year, and her name is Kelly Armstrong. Let me tell you just a tad bit about her, and then she's going to take it away. Kelly is a personal development image consultant. She's also an educator, a seamstress, an inventor, and I'm going to put in there she's an author too. Founder of the Prim and Prepped program, Hospitality Management Program, YMCA. Kelly, take it away. Tell us a little bit more about that last one, because that's huge. You did a lot of work there. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you so much, Kim, for having me. This is so much fun. I've been looking forward to being on Zoom and your podcast with you.
Yes.
So, Primed and Prepped is a hospitality management culinary arts program that I founded 5 years. Actually, I've been gone for 3 years. So I ran it at the Bayview YMCA for 5 years, and then it became their signature program. The premise of the program was for teenagers, 14 to 19, kids of color, to get them jobs and training in culinary arts and in the hospitality industry where they could actually get jobs. Because there was a time when we weren't really being hired in the hospitality industry. And this program actually changed that. My kids have worked at the Intercontinental, the Fairmont, Mark Hopkins. They've been all over the place. It's just so wonderful to see them. They've worked in restaurants. They're sous chefs. So anyways, it's just a program that I am really, really proud of. I was there with it for 5 years. And then after that, it was up and running and I was able to leave.
So now, after you got that to a great level of success, what was your next move? What did you do after that?
Well, you know what? While I was still doing that, I was still teaching at City College in the fashion department.
Okay.
I've been teaching at City College in the fashion department since 2001. So I never stopped. I never stopped because, I'm watching my students become image consultants and personal stylists. And I have so many students whose careers I've launched doing that. And so after I left Primed and Prepped, I went back to teaching that. I actually took on more classes. And then I was able to create a new class, which is called Fashion Career Essentials, where it's a workplace class. So after the students are seniors, fashion students become seniors getting ready to graduate, they have to take this class that helps them get job ready for the fashion industry.
And on that note, Kelly, I think that's when we connected and I came and started guest speaking for your class. Yes.
You've been speaking for my personal development, my personal styling class for years, Kim.
Wow.
You've come, inspired the kids. And, the beauty about you is that you were in different arenas where sometimes you'd come as a guest speaker as a makeup artist. Sometimes you'd come as a branding artist. Sometimes you would come in different health and wellness. So you would come. I would have you come for different reasons, different times. So it's beautiful. And then you're actually coming back again in the spring.
Yes. Yes, I am. And we're going to be business builders. And at that time, we'll be talking a little bit about even more marketing and helping the students really get business ready as they transition from the course into the real world and how they can develop and elevate. But when you look back at everything you've done, Kelly, what has been your greatest accomplishment with the students and working with the students, you would say? Your image consultant students.
Oh my goodness.
Not many.
I have so many students. Because I've had so many students after they graduated from the program that I've kept in touch with,
Right.
that I've actually helped get jobs. I've helped them get scholarships. So City College has a lot of wonderful memories for me. And the same thing with Prime Prep. You know, watching my young boys who used to hang out on the corner, you know, they're sous chefs now, working at the Mark Hopkins or the Fairmont Hotel. So you know, and then when I think about, I had a girls program that I used to do that's called Dressing Up from the Inside Out. I've watched my girls go on to college and to go on. So I have just worked with young people, and to be able to see them come into their own being and able to come back to the community. I always make them come back, girl. I get them to come back. I get them to come back to be guest speakers and to mentor other students. So working with young people, that has been my greatest joy, really.
I think that is so wonderful, because I think when we can impact the world, if we can work with young people, I know I do to some degree with my Look Good for Great program that I'm mentoring high school students and as well as middle school students. I think that's when we can just change the world, when we can give back, and then we can help to grow up these young people so that they can be the best inner version of themselves, so that they can go ahead and be successful in the world. You know, God gives us that mandate to do that. But with that being said, Kelly, you've done so much for these students with these kids and really inspiring their gifts. You know, I gotta go there. What is your next for your legacy, for your personal development? Because you've done so much. What's your next mark? How are you going to leave your legacy?
You know, this is such a great question, because before I even answer that, I need to say something about you. Because you actually inspired me in a way that I wasn't looking for. You know, I actually went onto your website a couple of days ago, because I said, we're getting ready to do this interview. I need to go on her website, see what she's talking about today. And I listened to one of your podcasts, and the next thing I know, and I was in the bed listening to this, mind you. I was in the bed, kind of groggy, but you said something that all of a sudden I perked up. I got out of the bed, got my journal, and I had to write it down. I wrote it down because I'm listening to you and you inspired me. And I said, you know what, I need to write this down before I forget it. And then I kept listening to the podcast, and then you started talking about your vision boards and how you do one for every season. And I'm like, oh, what is she doing to me? Because I had cut out I'd cut out the pictures for my vision board, and they've just been sitting there. It just inspired me. It was like, you know what, I got to get my vision boards together. So one of the things, Kim, that what you did for me is really made me think about it, because I've been thinking about doing a podcast. And so listening to you, I was able to come up with my title. So I came
share. Are you ready to share? What might that be?
No,
what might that be?
I'm not sure, but the thing that I actually wrote down is What's on Your Mind with Kelly Armstrong.
I love it.
So I want to talk to people about what's on their mind and in different arenas. And I will actually be focusing more on performing artists, and I'll tell you about that a little bit later. But I just know that I'm usually the motivator. I'm usually the personal development person, getting people intact. So when I came to you, and you have been doing this to me for years, you know, last year I get on a phone call with you and you're like, okay, Kelly, what's next? You know what? You wanted me to start selling my dolls that I make.
Yes.
And then the clothes, the baby stuff. And I'm like, I'm not ready to do that right now.
And the mask.
But right, the mask, you know, but I did sell the mask for a little bit. But the thing is that you're constantly pushing me to use my gifts. And that's your strength. That is your strength as the lady boss, entrepreneur, really trying to get other entrepreneurs on target and intact. So you have a gift, and I appreciate that gift.
Well, thank you. And I truly believe that God,
you're welcome.
The sower, and in his increase, and in his time, he increased. And so I have just been watching you, Miss Kelly, and I'm like, okay, how can she take all of this that she has done and to continue to further her legacy of knowledge and education. And as we're transitioning into this virtual and digital world, we're going to need to do that. Because can you, and Kelly, when you start that podcast, because it will be this month, and your student can go back and say, oh my God, Miss Kelly got her podcast. She was talking about when we were image consultants and and 4 tips here. And then you can have maybe one of your guys, maybe from the hospitality, say, oh, Miss Kelly got her podcast. She talked about Black men rising up. I mean, so now we're living a legacy. And this is what I was trying to share with you. Once we have this information and education and experience, and it shows that it works because we're getting positive outcomes from the people who we're serving. Globalize it. Let's make it global. Let's up level. That's how we can make it global. And you establishing your podcast can make that global. So I am
absolutely
happy. You also mentioned the vision board. So what's on the vision board?
So many things, but the biggest thing is I am looking for that perfect star. Okay. I want to develop a young person that sings, writes music, and I'm looking for an R&B artist. Because I'm getting ready to get back into the music industry because I didn't finish what I wanted to when I had done that, because that's the other thing I didn't mention, that I had been in the music industry as well. And so I want to get back and find me that artist. So I'm on a track. I'm looking for a young person that I can develop and turn into a star.
I love it. I love it.
Yes. Yes. And so I get to do, that's what my company is called, Artist Development, Image Making. So I am ready to do my artist development thing, girl, and I'm ready to whip them into shape. Do you hear
what
me?
did you say? You said artist development. What, Kelly? Repeat that one more time.
Artist development / image making. That's exactly the name of my company.
I love it.
I've had it since 1988.
I love it. I see it. And can you imagine once you start developing programs and having conversations on your podcast, that those can be trainings for those prospective people that are going to be coming through your company? So this is what we have to do in terms of elevating our businesses as women, as Black women, as people, on how we can global scale. And that is a wonderful way of how you can scale your business. I am so.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you. And I appreciate, again, like I said, Kim being Kim, always looking at her contacts and her friends and her colleagues and just pulling. You keep pulling in a way that's not offensive, and it gets to the point where I was like, because remember at first I was really like, okay, Kim, I'm not ready to do that. I'm not ready to do that. You go, but Kelly. And I said, well, you know what? Let me have an open mind and hear her out. Let me let her speak her piece.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so it really, you've left me with some wonderful gems, and you're willing to share so much. You share a lot of your resources as well. And that's one of the things I do that too. And I notice a lot of people don't share their resources.
What is that about? I don't understand that.
Well, you know what I do in a way, and you know what, because number one, my background is also in PR. So as a PR person, people will call me and ask me for contacts. And I'm like, you know what, you just can't ask me for a contact and think I'm just. So that certain resources you're not supposed to just throw away.
Right.
But certain resource tools that will help a person develop and become better.
Absolutely.
That should just be freely given.
Yes.
And so I think people don't realize it's not yours until you give it away. As long as you're holding on to it and it's just yours, it's yours. Exactly. And it's not helping nobody. It's not even helping you.
Exactly.
But when you are willing to give it away, that's when it's yours. Because you know what they're going to say? Kelly gave me that. If Kelly taught me that, just like what I had just said by you, Kim inspired me to do the podcast. Kim, you see, so it's not yours until you're willing to give it away.
Absolutely. And you could see a return on your investment. And that is
big time.
Helping to grow, helping people to be the best version of themselves. And call that God has on my life. And that's exactly what I hope that I am doing in others. And when you can see the return, the investment in that it works. Even when I give suggestions to my clients and I'm like, did it work? And they'll come back, oh my God, did it work? You know, yeah, bravo, execute.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
what it's all about. In being able to have people, like-minded people in your corner with you, sisters,
Yes.
that can encourage you, motivate you, and to say, hey, you can do it. That's
yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And, you know, and that's for me, like when I look at a lot of my students that are out there working as image consultants, because when I started off as an image consultant, there was not a lot of Black image consultants at all.
Yes.
And the lady, Marilee Montefiore, that actually took me under her wings and mentored me, when I asked her, I said, how can I ever pay you back? She says, just pay it forward. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to teach. And that way I'll be able to get a whole bunch of students, girl. And I've been able to get so many African-American girls and men to become image consultants, along with Asian, Latino. So it just makes me feel really good that I know that I have a part of that with these students out there doing their thing right now. And then they come back as guest speakers. And if you go to City College's website right now, to our fashion department, I actually honor success stories of my students that have been out there doing stuff. So you'll see my students on our success story page.
So Kelly, on that note, what URL or website would you like to leave in the podcast if someone has a question that might want to get in contact with you, whether that might be another businesswoman, or maybe that might be one of your students? What URL would you like to leave, or information on how?
You know what? Just tell them to Google Kelly Armstrong at City College, because I don't know my URL by heart. Okay. I don't know it. But if you Google Kelly Armstrong in the fashion department, I have a website for my classes and whatnot.
Well, don't worry, because we're going to have a URL for your podcast, and maybe there might be some prospective people that might want to podcast, and that's how they can get in contact with you. So I love it. So Kelly, as we begin to wrap this up, I like to keep the podcast really short and sweet. Let me just ask you, are there any closing remarks that you would like to share, or experiences, or some nuggets that might inspire other women that are listening to this podcast?
You know, when I think about women out there wanting to become their best version of themselves, all I say is feel the fear and do it anyway.
I love it.
Because I think that's what holds a lot of people back. They're afraid, you know. And I remember when I first started, I had the fear of failure. And then after I got over the fear of failure, then I had to learn how to deal with the fear of success. Yes. And it's like, what? You've got to be kidding me. So the truth is, it's just believe that whatever is in your heart, and if it's really there, do it. Feel the fear and do it anyway.
I love it. I love it, because that's how you have become who you are. And
absolutely.
Successful, and the legacy that you are about to leave. Now, before I ask you these last 4 questions, now we all know you a seamstress. Now, Kelly did send me a picture of this beautiful design coat that she had just designed. Is that for a special client, or is that a personal gift that you designed? Because that coat is beautiful.
That coat was for my daughter. I sewed for her and my grandbaby.
Oh,
they are my people that I sew for, and my husband, I sew for him as well. But yeah, that coat was for my daughter, because she's been saying, "Mommy, you're always telling me you're going to make me a coat. When is it going to come?" Oh, so I finally decided, you know what, let me send it to her. So as a matter of fact, she's getting it today. I put it in the post office, and they said it will be delivered Friday. So I can't wait to see her put it on.
So Kelly, are you
gonna post it on Facebook? Trust me.
And give it to me, because I'd like to post it too. Are you open to private? If someone says, "Hey, I have a private design that I would like to know if you can design for me," are you ever open to those opportunities?
No,
not yet. Okay. No. I just want.
You know what? And let me tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because like I said, the things that I do sell sew and sell are baby items. I do beautiful baby layettes and baby shower gifts.
Yes.
That I'll do. And the reason why is because people don't complain about baby stuff. Whatever you give them, it's always beautiful and they love it. But when you're making clothes for somebody, you know, especially with women, one week it fits and then the next week it doesn't, because of the way our weight fluctuates, and then the taking in and out. It's like, girl, I cannot be bothered with that.
Okay.
However, I have friends that I refer people to that do that.
I love it.
Others seem, you know, because I work at City College with other fashion designers, with other fashion instructors. And I mean, some of these guys are incredible. And so they do that for a living. So I refer those kind of artists to them, because I sew for relaxation and a way to process. When I'm in my sewing room, I'm processing my next steps.
Yes.
In my businesses. So it gives me a way to kind of step back from all the noise. And then I get in there and I get in my zone. And I know that I'm creating it for love for my daughter and my grandbaby. You know,
and
I have sewn for.
I can understand that some people, they do things for the creative. And, you know, it's not to sell, it's not to market, it's not to make money. They from the heart because they love to do that. And that happens to be one of your joyful kind of task that you like to do. So I get it. But you're good at it, Kelly. Oh, my God. Amazing. So as we close this out, I always like to ask my guests a couple of things that you would like to maybe just share, some things that we don't know about Miss Kelly. So Kelly, I'm going to ask you, what is your favorite color?
I have two favorite colors. I'm sorry I can't have one, but they're pink and blue.
Pink and blue.
They're pink and blue, yes. And variations of the pink and blue, but those two colors do something to me. As a matter of fact, I love it when the sky turns pink and blue.
Wow.
When that happens, I'm just like, yes. So it's something about those two colors that warm my heart. And then the pastel with the baby, when I do baby stuff, I love doing pink and blue combination. So the thing is, I don't own anything pink. I have blues, but I don't have pink.
I love it. Pink and blue. And what is your favorite food?
Oh my God. Anybody that knows me know I love noodles or Chinese food. I love Chinese food.
Love it. And then what is your favorite pastime? The main thing that brings you joy that you like to do. I think you've already answered that.
I'm a reader.
Oh.
I am a reader. My whole house is being overtaken by books. I don't have places to put books anymore. And I have bookshelves that are bigger than me, and I keep saying I'm not going to buy another book. But, you know, and you know how people like the Kindle and they go to the library. I need to own the book so I can write in it. And right now I'm finishing up Barack Obama's book. And every page I'm in tears and laughing, and I'm just having such a wonderful time. But reading is definitely my joy.
So you see, with those three questions that I asked you sparked so much joy. Your face was as wide as Texas, the state of Texas. And this is the thing that we need to remind people, is that when they are in a funk or depressed state, that is, find those things that bring you joy, right? Find those things that bring you joy.
Yes.
And you said,
yes, absolutely.
Color, man, I mean, look at the color of pink or blue. I mean, my goodness, the food, you know, so inspiring. And then your pastime is reading. So never depart and never forget from those things. And this is why I always like to ask those three things to my guests when I'm ending my show. Look how much joy came over you when we mentioned that. She's still smiling.
Yes, you know what? Yeah. You know, like every room, I have books that I'm reading. So, you know, I don't read one book at a time. I have in different rooms, I got different books. My bathroom, because I take baths and I read. Because I make these bath pillows that you would love, girl. And I sit back with my bath pillow and I got the book and I got my timer on for a half hour and I'm set. Well, and then I'll go in my sewing room. I got books there. Every room has books.
Well, I'm going to have to place an order for one of those bath pillows. Kelly, it has been an amazing pleasure to be my first guest at the top of the year.
Aww,
She's the best
I'm
of
honored.
success.
Absolutely.
She's been
I am so honored.
And I love being
I'm
I look forward to being a guest on your podcast show as well. So as we close out this evening, this is Kelly Armstrong, my guest, and I'm Kim Evans, your host. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening to my new podcast, Conversations with Kim Evans. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Okay.
Clorox knows you want your clothes smelling fresh and clean, but so what happens? That's why we created Clorox fabric sanitizers to freshen up your clothes between washes, pre-treat extra stinky laundry, and make sure every last odor comes out in the wash. Clorox fabric sanitizers take care of all that and eliminate 99% of odor-causing bacteria. Plus, they're bleach-free and safe for all colors and fabrics. When it counts, trust Clorox.
Hi, friend. It's your home speaking, and I need some favors. Could you turn on some of the lights in the basement? I'm scared of the dark. Also, this one is easy. Could you bundle your home and car insurance with Geico so we could save money? Last thing, just a suggestion. Could you steam clean the carpets? I need a spa day.
Geico. For bundling made easy, go to geico.com today.